All right, hello, welcome back to the channel. So we are continuing our budget crafting series today. We started this past week with mono red aggro, and today we are working on another major player in the arena meta, and that is mono black midrange. So let's go take a look at the deck list and see what we can do with it. Okay, so here is the deck. It's your pretty basic, straightforward mid-range deck, all in black. So let's going to go through the curve, and then we'll talk about some specific interactions, and then we'll get into the games. So first up on our curve, we have 3 copies of Cult Conscript and 4 Evolved Sleeper. Then we are running 3 Tenacious Underdog, 3 Graveyard Trespasser, 3 Gravelighter. That's a new one. I might have to explain that one. And then we have 3 Sheoldred. And that is it creature-wise. So let's go through it real quick. So the Cult Conscript is in here because it is a card that we can help to continuously apply pressure throughout the game. So like whenever a creature that is not a skeleton dies, we can pay 2 to bring that back from the graveyard directly into play. So it's pretty decent with cards like, say, Gravelighter. Now, Gravelighter, her text is, when Gravelighter enters the battlefield, draw a card if a creature died this turn. Otherwise, each player sacrifices a creature. So you really want to play her for the sacrifice portion of her effect. And so what you'll do is you'll likely use this and sacrifice the Gravelighter itself if the Cult Conscript is already in the graveyard. And that's going to trigger Cult Conscript to be able to be reanimated. Or alternatively, you'll play it with the Cult Conscript on the table and you'll sacrifice the Cult Conscript because it has that reanimation clause. Another good synergy is with the Tenacious Underdog, because if you blitz it from the graveyard, it's going to come out of the graveyard, do its attack, and then go away. But when it happens to go away, it also triggers the Cult Conscript's reanimation clause. So there you go. You have a decent amount of synergy. Not so much. It's only 2 different cards that kind of like really trigger it. Other than that, it's going to be triggered by your creatures just dying naturally. See here. Other than that, we have our removal is going to be 4 copies of Cut Down, 4 Go for the Throw, and 3 Sheoldred's Edict. So it's 11 pieces of very relevant removal. Like if you're playing a black deck, you're most likely going to be playing these. Then we have Blood Pact. Blood Pact is an interesting include in here. I'm running this as a budget alternative to something like, say, Phyrexian Arena. And the reason why is because it says target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Guess what? When Sheoldred's on the table, that now reads target player draws 2 cards and loses 6 life if it happens to be my opponent. What's very important to note is it says target player draws 2 cards. So you can make your opponent draw 2 cards and lose 6 life with the Sheoldred on the table. Or if your opponent just happens to be at 2 health left, you just use Blood Pact and win the game. Past that, we have 2 copies of Corrupt, and Corrupt is in here as a way to get to the wizard behind the throne. And what I mean by that is, like, it's reach, it's direct damage. This can deal damage equal to the number of swamps you control to any target. So that's player, creature, battle, planeswalker, whatever I need to hit in the face, I can do that with Corrupt. And oftentimes this can just be a way to finish the game. Land base, you got 23 swamps and 2 Mirrex. The reason Mirrex is in here is because of opposing control decks. And the reason why this is important is because what do control decks like to do? They like to control the board, control the flow state of the game. So they're going to be board wiping you maybe 2 or 3 times a game. Mirrex is in here as a way to continuously apply pressure when you have run out of gas. So that is why the Mirrex is in here. So there you go. Not a poison strategy, but it is still additional pressure. So there you go. That is the deck. It's pretty low to the ground. You pretty much are playing your best stuff on curve every turn and trying to get wins that way. So here we are. Let's go take it onto the ladder and see how it does.
Okay, so this is slightly better. We have 3 swamps, a Cult Conscript, an Evolved Sleeper, Graveyard Trespasser, and we have a removal in the form of Cut Down. Looks good to me, so we're going to keep it. Chaplain of Arms. Interesting. So this is first strike ward 1. So we're going to go ahead and play the Evolved Sleeper first. I've honestly never seen someone play Chaplain of Arms. Oh, okay, I see what you're going for here. Yeah, that works. That definitely works. Alright, probably the Graveyard Trespasser, honestly. That's what I would go after. Yep, good choice. Yeah, no blocks. You can hit that for 1. Alright, let's go ahead and play another swamp, and we're going to give this the cut down of its life. Pay the ward cost. Alright, and then we swing in for 1. Chaplain of Alms, huh? And then Chapel Shield guys. Shield guys requires 4. Okay, he's going to play another one. Another Invasion of Gobi. Alright, he's going to hit my cut down with that. At least I think he should. Yeah. And let's see here. Let's go ahead and play that, and we'll play this. Targeting that, yes. And we will pay the cost. Resolve. Autopay. It goes bye-bye. There we go. And attack for 1. And then play a Cult Conscript. That's some pretty clutch Gobicons he's got there, though. You just need to make sure that he never flips it. Alright, let's go here. Cut that down. And then we attack for 3. He's got a lot of first striking in there. I think I'm getting the idea that he wants his creatures to be difficult to interact with. Alright, he plays Anointed Peacekeeper. So he's going to be able to talk about my Blood Pact. Or maybe Graveyard Trespasser again, just to make it that much more difficult to cast. So the question is, how are we going to do this? You can choose my Blood Pact. Okay, he did choose the Blood Pact. Alright, let's go ahead and cast Graveyard Trespasser now. And let's get the Chaplain of Alms out of there. And we'll say no attacks. Alright, he gets a land, and he plays the Chapel Shieldgeist. So that grants Ward 1. Each creature controls Ward 1 if Chapel Shieldgeist will be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile instead. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to cast Gravelighter, and I'm going to sacrifice the Cult Conscript. So which one are you going to sacrifice? Okay. Alright, he gets rid of that. And then next, let's see here. Do we attack? Yeah, I think we attack with the Graveyard Trespasser. Get rid of that Talia. Alright, and then we end the turn. Unfortunately, it was the Cult Conscript that died, so it had to go. I mean, we couldn't re-summon it, is what I'm trying to say. Alright, you're going to come at me? Pass. Okay, we're going to pass. We're going to block with both. Let's see what you choose to do. Okay, he's going to cast Surge of Salvation. So here's what we're going to do instead, is we're going to pump up the volume and make it so he can't kill both of them. Okay, so he gets rid of the Sleeper. That's fine for me. Ooh, I like that. Okay, let's see here. Let's go ahead and next we're going to attack with just the Gravelighter. Okay, and since Blood Pact is an instant, I'm actually just going to chill on that until the end of their turn. Alright, they can discard a card and then get something back. What's in the graveyard? Nothing really. So he would have to discard something that he can get back immediately, like maybe a land or something. Alright, he gets the Skrelv. Good choice. Alright, do you dare come at me? Probably not. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up, yeah. Alright. Pittsburgh Rocks. Fantastic name. Bravo. I love it. Okay, so we got 3 swamps, a cool conscript, a cut down, go for the throw, and tenacious underdog. So it's a pretty solid open. I'm gonna keep it. So far, like, I really haven't had to mulligan a whole lot with this deck. It's got some pretty good early game. And our opponent is going first, so now they need to see if they want to keep their mulligan or not. You know, I really like doing these budget builds, mostly just because it kind of forces me to make different choices regarding what I put in the decks to begin with. Like, typically I don't play a whole lot of Cult Conscript, but it's a pretty decent card. Okay, so they played a land. It comes in tapped. We're going to play the Cult Conscript. There we go. Don't want that going off anymore. So, that's a Xander's Lounge, so that tells me they're playing at least Grixis, if not full domain. So let's see what they pull out of their hat. Alright, that is a Black Cleave Cliff, so they're very likely playing Grixis, or just Rakdos. It could be either. Alright, next, I'll attack. Alright, let's go and play the underdog. Okay, so he is definitely playing Grixis then. Because that is the extra blue. Alright. Looks like he might be trying to do something before I go to my next phase, because he's holding me up a little bit. 3 untapped mana. He's got the blood over there, so the blood might even be just the thing that's holding him up right now. Oh, Pittsburgh. When will you ever learn to stop roping? Alright, that's one timeout used. Okay, cool. I'll attack. Are you still there? Alright, he's going to cast Cut Down. See, in that case, I will also cast Cut Down. 2 can play that game. Perfect. Alright, yeah. Alright, you take 2. That was a perfect emote to use in that moment. That was fantastic. This guy's got the stickers. You know, if they put out some decent like emotes and stickers and shit like that, I might actually consider getting some. But most of the ones that I see really aren't all that great. All right, sure. More than down for that. Bink, bink. Great thing about that is it just goes right back into the graveyard instead of being outright removed. All right, you now have some of my cards. Okay. I guess he kind of ran out of options there. The more I play this game, the more wild ass fucking names I see. All right, so we got a red enjoyer. Let's see how much of it he enjoys, though. All right, double red. So this is a mono red deck. Yep, mono red aggro. You got it. All right. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and attack. And pass turn. Alright, that go bye-bye. He gives his Reckless a +1 and swings in for 3. As was expected. Alright, end turn. This is turning into a game of who's the beatdown. Alright, he uses Reckless Impulse. Alright. So you look at two. Okay, they're both mountains. That's fantastic for me. But that does also get him 2 cards deeper into his deck, so those mountains that he would have normally drawn are now off the top of his deck. So that's honestly kind of good for him, too. No blocks. Come on in, champ. Pass. Alright, end of turn. Activate. Do you have a removal? Doesn't look like it. Alright. Next. We're going to attack for 6. Alright. Do you have anything? It didn't look like it. Alright, let's go and play the Sheldred. What would really suck is if they happen to be playing like Bloody Betrayal or something. That would suck for me. Alright, he's going to lightning strike me. I take 3. He loses 2 life for drawing a card. Probably play one of those mountains from exile, yes. He is playing Bloody Betrayal. You son of a bitch. Oh, how did I know? How did I know? Alright, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If he has any form of like direct damage in his hand, this is game. So let's see what happens. He's got 2 mana left open, so he should have at least like a shock or something in his hand. Okay, he's looking for a shock. Or maybe he just wanted to draw a card. Get that life gain while he's still here. Okay, he just plays a Swift Spear. Alright, cool. Alright, I got mine. Alright, let's go here. So let's see here. He's got 1 open. So check this out. We're going to attack. Send everything in. Alright, So he blocks that, so that's 6 right there, right? So we're going to let that 6 hit, and check this out, Blood Pact for the win. Yes, I'm sure. Boom, boom. There you go. Burn him out with card draw. Love it.
Okay, so this is the post-game wrap. Let's go over our findings for this budget list. So pretty much the most noticeable thing is that if you get a good opening curve, you're going to do well for the majority of the game. So having the Cult Conscript and the Evolved Sleeper both being on turn 1, leading into a Tenacious Underdog, is really pretty strong. So, and it also sets you up pretty well for like your turn 3, 4, and 5. So most of the time, like you're running, like say, a Cult Conscript into a Tenacious Underdog, maybe into a Gravelighter or into a Graveyard Trespasser, and then topping off with Sheoldred. So it's a 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's like it's very, very straightforward. Just play your most effective thing on curve every turn. Maybe keeping up a little bit of mana for counterspell, not counterspells, but for creature kill cards, like your cut down, you go for the throat, Sheoldred's Edict. Another thing that I did notice is that because we're working on a budget of only 15 rares and mythics, we had to make some certain concessions, because like the normal version of this deck, like the fully completed version of this deck, runs other things like Flesh Gorgers, things like Liliana. Some of them are running also Phyrexian Arena and Vraska. So like most of these like fully finished decks are like 90% rares, but because we're working on a budget, we don't really have that luxury. So running things like Gravelighter in the place of, say, Liliana, and Blood Pact in the place of Phyrexian Arena for draws, like those right there, pretty much just like it opens up the gameplay pattern to like other things. Like instead of having to play Liliana at the right time, you could potentially play Gravelighter almost any time, provided your opponent has at least one creature on the board. And Blood Pact plus Sheoldred is such a fun combo. I wish I could see the look on my opponent's face when they realize they just got killed by a draw card. I really wish I could see that, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, solid curve, good removal, potential to burn out the opponent with either Corrupt or Blood Pact. Mirex for backup against control decks. It's solid. I like it a lot. I think I might even keep playing it too. It's pretty decent. So yeah, there you go. That is your budget mono black. I will put a link to the deck list in the description box below. So if you want to try this deck yourself, you are more than welcome to. That's what these videos are for. So until next time, take care of yourselves.